It's the Dreamscape.
Welcome back, dreamers, to Indie Synergy Exchange, your podcast for all things indie art and creation. I'm your host, Tanner Giese, also known as Number 2 Pencil Man and owner of Tanner's Tales Entertainment. And joining me tonight, I have my co-host.
Hi, I'm Lemona.
Lemona, what are you?
What am I? Oh, I'm a multi-creative, but my current focus is on writing, and I'm hoping to expand that soon.
Very good. And tonight we have a special guest with us, Beth from Myths in Clay.
Hello.
That was good.
We have sound effects.
Yes, I'm getting better with the soundboard. That's what we like. We are very stoked to have Beth with us tonight. So before we get into that, you know the drill. We got to do all the podcast promotional stuff because, yeah, you guys don't always stay till the end. So we're just going to do it. We love your support. If you guys have been enjoying this show, I don't mean to diss the audience. You guys are all
way
fantastic.
To call them out, dear.
Well, you know, it's YouTube, and if I was to put up the statistics bar like everybody else, it would say like a small percentage of our audience is subscribed to us, and a big percentage isn't. So, if you guys have been enjoying our content, please be sure to drop a like, interact with the content, drop comments, and of course, the most important thing you can do is subscribe. It helps us build this channel up, build this platform. We can get these amazing indie creators more exposure to all sorts of different people. So that's what we want to do overall, and you can help us make that possible if you're enjoying the podcast. I wouldn't ask you to do that if you didn't enjoy the podcast. So, if you don't enjoy it, just ignore my whole ramble thing there. And if you do, please consider doing that. We've had, I think this is episode 27.
Oh,
I think. So we've had 26 episodes before this, all with, pretty much all of them with amazing guests. We've had maybe 3 or 4 without guests, but the rest have had amazing indie creators that we like to showcase. We've had comic book creators, authors, poets, wrestlers, musicians, doctors of psychology, clowns, small businesses. We're a little loopy here tonight. It's fantastic.
Well, I had a thought, but I
What's
didn't know if
your
anyone else. You would get it, but I didn't want to, in case Beth didn't get it, I wouldn't. And I don't know if our viewers would get it either.
Well, now you gotta.
No.
We put you on the spot.
Well, I was going to say, maybe, since this is the 27th episode, that means that even better things are ahead. Because Charlotte Lucas got married when she was 27 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Jane Austen
stuff. That's a Jane Austen moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are probably a couple of our fans that do enjoy Jane Austen, so I mean... that one's for you guys. We like to make all of our viewers feel like they're seen in some way or other. So, definitely check out those other podcast episodes, though, because, like I said, we've featured amazing creators of all kinds, and we're going to continue to do that. So, yes, if you guys do like us, please consider doing all that stuff. And now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Beth. Beth, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Hello. So I am a ceramic artist. I've been doing ceramics, not full-time, but part-time since high school. That was kind of when I got my introduction to it. Did it through college. I recently got my master's degree over at the Royal College of Art, and I just moved back from London, so back in the States, and I'm looking to find some cons to sell at, but yeah, I specialize in hand-built sculpture specifically. I do a lot of mugs as well, just because I like for art to be accessible for everyone, and mugs are something that you don't have to charge quite as much for, and everyone can kind of enjoy. Keep looking to the side. I have a couple little examples around here.
Oh, wow.
This one's old. It's one of the ones I kept. It had a little bit of an issue with the handle, so it got to be mine. But this style is called sgraffito, so I do a lot of that. And
That is fun.
I have a variety of things here. So, yeah.
Wow. That is really cool. And so, did you know this was something that you wanted to do? I feel like a lot of people get their introduction to ceramics in like a pottery class in high school. And the ones that end up taking pottery class, I hear nothing bad about pottery from anybody who takes that class. So, is that kind of how you got your introduction? Did you kind of like have an idea before that?
So it was my very first experience with it, and I think you're absolutely right. I actually believe that ceramics is a deeply addictive thing. It is so healing to get your hands in the dirt and to have that chance. Like the wheel is so therapeutic with its spinning and the ritual of creating things, and then to
Hmm.
be able to mold the clay. Just amazing. Healing, wonderful, beautiful. And so I took my very first class, I think like sophomore year of high school, and my teacher was so cool. He saw I was making monsters and really kind of encouraged me to follow that weird path with it. And because of that, that's kind of how I ended up where I am. I've always been really into folklore and anthropology. My degrees in college were actually in anthropology, specializing in forensic archaeology and
Oh, wow.
also studio arts. And so I've kind of blended those things into my weird little menagerie I create now. So
That is
lots
cool.
of folkloric monsters, creatures like that.
That is fun. I'm not used to seeing ceramics quite like yours. Like when I first stumbled upon you on TikTok, I saw that you were making these cool monsters, and I'm just like, that is so unique because a lot of potters and stuff I feel like stick to the basics. They stick to the pots, the mugs, and vases and or
Mhm.
vases. I don't know how they
Yeah.
say it. I don't want to
Anything
offend anybody.
anything kitchen related,
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
plates and
which is
so
fine. I mean, it's
yeah.
the practicality is great, but it's
Yeah.
also basic.
But it's really cool to see somebody who's making decor that's like folkloric monsters.
Oh,
So it's
thank you.
like really fun. Did you? So you always enjoyed folklore? Then
I
I'm
grew
assuming.
up in small town Pennsylvania, so a lot
Okay.
of our local legends, and of
Whoop,
course,
whoop.
we're kind of, yeah, PA. So we're kind of tucked between Appalachia and the Great Lakes region.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, as I'm sure y'all know, we get a lot of that Appalachian folklore, but we also get the Great Lakes and those like cold shore folklore as well. So it's just a really nice mix. And again, as I'm sure you guys know, we have a lot of like Welsh and Cornish influence from when people originally came over
Mm-hmm.
to sweep through and do mining. And so we have a lot of those like uh, knockers are a great example, like the Tommy knockers in the mines and how they traveled from the eastern seaboard across to the west. And you can just see the traces of storytelling. And so I think it's just been something that was a really big part of where I grew up. And so it's just always been really near and dear to my heart.
That's so fun. Yeah, it's hard to not get into that stuff if that's
Yeah.
surrounding you. And I love that. And like I was up in like I was telling you a little bit earlier, Johnstown, and it's just like a cryptid festival taking place in that part of Pennsylvania. It just makes sense cuz
It does.
it's so perfect. It's got all those forests, all the mountains around it. Oh, it's the perfect folklore setting for sure. Um yeah, that's really cool. And so you went into pottery in high school, but before that, did you have a calling towards creative like
I
endeavors?
Yeah, I have always been incredibly drawn to art in general. I used to draw all the time. Like, anytime you would leave me on my own, I'd either be drawing or painting or messing around with mud or doing something. So, yeah, it's definitely been a big part of just my life in general. And for a long time, I thought, again, because I didn't get introduced to ceramics until high school, I thought I was going to be like a painter or
Okay.
some sort of 2D artist. But my mind doesn't work in 2 dimensions all the time. I find it very difficult to get what I see in my head to show up on
Hmm.
paper, where I can kind of get it to form when I am working with clay. So it's just, I don't know, it's how my brain works, and I've just haven't been able to stop since I started. So,
I love that. I feel like as a true artist, as most of us are, deep down inside, we all have that thing that once we get started with it, we just can't stop. And it's like it's part of who we are. And to deny that is to really to deny everything that we are in a sense. And so to see other artists experience that and kind of find their own ways, because all of these amazing creators that we've gotten to speak to and that are out there, we never, it's like we're not doing the same things. Everybody's doing something different. And I think that's the beauty of what art is and the human experience through art. And that's what blows me away when I see pieces like yours. So I got to ask, like, what are your favorite creations that you make? Like, are they the monsters, or do you do like a little bit of different things too?
So my favorite things are definitely my sculptural pieces. I personally like the piece that the technicians referred to as the Mother of Owls. It's
Okay.
one of my larger pieces. It's a humanesque form with an owl head. She was too large to drag up here, but I really just enjoy using hybridism and those sculptural elements. But I also have a specific fondness. I'm a big nature girl, so lots of like. This one is a wood-fired piece. It's porcelain, and all the coloration you see on it comes from the natural ash glazes and the flames licking the piece.
Oh, that's
Wood
cool.
firing is a special like specific interest of mine. I am obsessed with it. Uh, it takes like a week because you have to
Oh,
go and chop all the wood and then you're staying up to stoke the fire. And depending on how big the team is, you may be up for like 12 hours in the night and then have to do a shift in the day. And it's
oh wow.
the most amazing thing in the world. And you get some really wacky results. Um, but pretty much anything wood fired is my favorite. And also just little creatures. I do again from Pennsylvania, so we have a lot of like creek bed
That
inspired
is
work.
beautiful.
Thank you. I
That
really
is one of
enjoy
the coolest
making
teapots I've ever seen.
little teapots and stuff, and he has some little luster on his eyes, which I always think is fun. But
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I like everything. I really do. I There's a bit of a distinction in the ceramics world between potters and like sculptors or ceramic artists. We're all
Hmm.
ceramic artists, but potters tend to be very, very good on the wheel. I'm okay on the wheel. Like you can see with the teapot, the form is fine.
Hmm.
I'm more specialized in the sculpting aspect of it though. But I think potters are so cool too. I just can't when they throw the same shape with the exact specifications again and again and they can throw anything insane. So,
Wow. I am quite impressed by what you told me about the wood fire stuff. I never even heard of like that. But again, I didn't go into that area. I
uh-huh.
am kind of kicking myself now because I took all the other art classes in high school except for pottery, thinking I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But then I'm like, you know what? I should have done pottery. I probably would have loved it because everybody else was like, Tanner, you missed out. Like pottery was so cool, and the teacher was like super laid back. I don't know if that's a thing with like just like potter teachers. Like
Yeah.
I took a sculpture class and that was fun, and I like
Uh-huh.
sculpture as well. It's been a while since I've made my own sculptures. I remember my theme from senior year for the sculpture class was mythological creatures as well. So
Really.
I did a lot of. I'm sad because all my pieces broke because when we moved from one place to another, my aunt packed them all up and didn't actually like wrap them properly. So like
Mhm.
all of my things broke.
I thought you have your turtle.
I do have the turtle. No, that was another thing. Um, yeah, that
Oh.
was a color me mine thing. Uh,
Ah.
but
Oh.
that was from around that time. So I mean, not too far off. But I made this. Well, one of the projects was to make an ocarina, and I
Ah.
made a griffin-shaped ocarina. So it was like the head and the beak were where you blew into it, and the body was where the holes were, and that the head broke off of it. And then I
Oh.
made like a wizard cereal bowl because we were making weird cereal bowls, and the wizard snapped off the base, and
It's
that broke.
it's really hard, especially with those when you're doing ceramics for the first time, if
Hmm.
your firing them. Sometimes you don't realize like what exact temperature it needs to be depending on what you're doing to it.
Hmm.
Takes a little bit of fiddling, and like if you're doing your connections and it's not quite right, it'll be fine for a year, and then all of a sudden it gets a little too chilly and it'll snap off. So
Darn, I wish I
yeah.
would have known this back then. But
You should try it
yeah,
again, though. I am a firm believer that everyone should do ceramics all the time. I just think it is so much fun, and I love seeing what people make. I get so many people who are like, I could never do that. And yes, you can. Absolutely. I have never met someone who is genuinely bad at ceramics. I think we all have it in us to create.
oh, I 100% agree with that, and I love that you are encouraging people because I definitely do want to try it again. I want more when we get a place of our own. I want to have a studio where I can do all sorts of arts and crafts because I love to dabble. Like I'm not just a writer because I do the
Mhm.
comic books, but I also like to draw, paint, and I do like to sculpt. And that was one area that I would like to improve in because I really enjoyed it. Like when I took that class, creating it, getting to like go through the whole process, I really enjoy it. Just creating in general for me. Doesn't matter what it is, but like I really did love 3D art and I want to delve more into it eventually. So, going off of what you just said to encourage people though, how would you encourage people to start, or can you give us like a look into your process for creating, how it goes down for you while you make these pieces?
Absolutely. So, first of all, it is important to note that the barrier to entry for ceramics can be kind of high. And I know that that causes a lot of people problems
Mm-hmm.
um, because when you're getting into it, you feel like you need to either rent studio space or get a wheel, buy a kiln, all of
Mm-hmm.
that. And so there are ways to get around that. You can either, like I said, rent the studio space, and there are some places that do it relatively cheaply and will include those studio fees. But also, if you are looking to get started, if you go on, there are a lot of websites that do like kiln shares where people who own kilns will rent you out space.
Oh,
And that helps to make it a little more accessible to people. Um, I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but
hey, that's all right.
that's available. The thing for wood kilns, if you are in the UK, there's a place called the Oxford Wood Kilns, and they're actually really seeking, it's affiliated with Oxford University, but they're nonprofit. They're really seeking to make wood kilns more accessible for people. And in the US, I know, and I think it's in the UK as well, but in the US, you can look up wood kilns, and there are a lot where if you join and pay a fee, you are able to go and experience that. So, again, there is that barrier to entry, but there are ways that's not going to be a constant drain, and you don't need to have your own studio. Um,
That's really good information.
yeah, I think everyone should get to experience it at least once. Not everyone likes wood kilns because it is
Mm-hmm.
kind of grueling physical labor. But I think it's really neat. And my process with everything is I usually start with a sketch. I get a block of clay and I either go based off the sketch or I see what the clay wants to be. Sometimes it just
Oh,
wants to be a specific thing, and I can't really help that. So,
how do you get that feeling? I'm curious. Like, how do you get in touch with the clay and kind of see what it wants to be?
so when you have clay, if it's reclaimed clay, you have to wedge it to get all the air bubbles out, and that kind of lets you. I enjoy sculpting with reclaim the most because you get to really get a feel for how the clay is already shaped. Actually,
Mm.
I have a bit of an example. Sorry to disappear, but here we go. So this guy was a solid block. I bought a bag of clay and I was kind of feeling him, and I just he felt like an alligator to me. So he actually started off like this, and then got pared down to
That's so
just
fun.
create that shape. And then of course, you have to hollow them out to keep those walls thin. But in general, I don't know. It's very much based for me. Dropping things,
Oh
very
no.
much based for me off of the vibes of the clay or how I'm feeling that day. But
Okay. Well, that's really cool. Like to just kind of pick something up and just be like, okay, what's this? And to get that kind of connection, I don't know if other people feel the same way. Is that more so like a unique process to you, or have you had other people tell you that they think similarly when it comes to the clay?
I think it really depends on the artist. And I also, within ceramics, there's a lot of different like specializations almost. A lot of my
Okay.
friends from school are more research and chemistry oriented. So for them, pieces don't just happen. It's more about they do the research, they figure out how the chemical composition is going to react,
Hmm.
and their pieces tend to be a lot more abstract, or if they're not abstract, it's highly planned.
Okay.
And so I know that for them, it's a very different process. For me, my art is more figurative and more intuitive in that regard. So it's less planned, less exact. We don't always know what's going to happen or how it's going to turn out. But yeah, I do think that a lot of ceramic artists though do really just kind of go with the flow, especially figurative sculptors. So
Hmm. I do like that a lot because can relate with the intuitive
mhm.
aspect of the art itself for me, and I feel like to everybody in their own way, it kind of is like an intuitive thing. I don't know if you can really separate art from that intuitive spiritual nature. I feel like there's just something there that intertwines the two, and it's really you can't really like separate it.
I
So
agree.
I love hearing other perspectives on how that like plays out.
Yeah, I kind of view creating as ritual is a big part of my practice in general. Creating itself is a ritual, whether or not it's on the wheel or just with my hands. And
Mhm.
then the goal of all my functional pieces is to become a part of people's daily rituals and become part of their story as well. But yeah, it's very much, I think a lot of people who do art, it's that ritual of creation and that just, I don't know, the joy and it's like being alive. It's
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain it, but
No,
you get the
I
vibes.
love what you're saying because yeah, that's a lot of how we view it, and
Hmm.
part of like coming back. And I'll share a little bit of a personal story here. But before I do, did you have a question or anything that you wanted to say?
I do, but
Okay, go
why?
for it.
Well, no, I don't want to interrupt what you're saying, but when you're done, I'll ask my
Okay,
question.
cool. I felt like you had a question, so I'm like, all right, I don't want to like talk too much here, but
Yeah,
just
I'm not. I hate interjecting if I feel like the conversation's going really well, so that's why I still hold it back a little too much. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
but this is gonna be good though, because I can't wait to hear what you got to say. But to go back to the story real quick to bring us back to that, one of the things that I started to notice because after high school for me, I stopped basically all creative endeavors. I lost my spark. That's kind of the short spark notes of it. I lost my creative spark. I went into the real world, got a job, kind of sold my soul to the workforce, and was chasing a lot of external things that I thought would complete me. And it just drained me to a point where I hit this rock bottom and I felt like there was no purpose to life. And I just remember in that space, I encountered something that changed my perspective. And then I started to really come back to life in a way. Like I started with loving myself again, finding that there was worth and that there was a purpose to everything. And then that gradually built up to finding my creative spark again in storytelling, which then led to Number Two Pencil Man. And that wasn't even planned. Like Pencil Man was a complete accident that then turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Um, and it all started with like refining that. And then what I realized when I started going to conventions, and this is what helped me connect with Rachel and Frey. So this is some podcast lore here for the viewers. I realized that people are most alive when they're doing what they love, when they're following their passions, and in most cases, passions include creating. It's basically pretty much any passion is creation. And so it got me thinking, as somebody who had lost their spark and then refound it in my own way, I wanted to find ways that I could help steward that and help encourage people to find their spark again, because I know that there's nothing worse than losing that purpose in life. And so many people in what I'll say is the real world have lost that spark. And you see so much misery and sadness throughout the world. So like you said, creation is life, and that's something that I started to learn, and that's like a big part of what Number Two Pencil Man has then become. As you've probably seen my pencil pep talks, I'm like, this is stuff that I've learned that I want to see in other people. Like I want to help encourage them towards it, because really, this is the way to life. It's like when we create, we are our most authentic selves. We are in our calling. We are changing the world, and it might not seem like it to people, but it's really doing that, because how many times do people approach you and like tell you how amazing your art is? It's making a statement, it's doing work without us even knowing what it's really doing. And that's what like the power behind our creations is, essentially. It's really cool. And then when I was on the con scene, I met Frey and I met Rachel, and then we
Mhm.
all kind of banded together through friendship, and we became the Dreamscape Imperium, to like tie in the lore. But it's like that's what I've noticed, and that's like one of the biggest reasons that we're doing what we're doing now. Is like we can see like people are not happy in the world, and it's getting worse and worse. And it's like, what can we do to at least try to start changing perspectives and bringing people back? Because it honestly, a world filled with creators would be like heaven. It would be like heaven on earth,
Oh,
because everybody's
100%.
got something.
Everyone has something that they can do and they can do well, and a lot of people honestly just need access to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I fully agree with you. After I graduated college, I had a lapse of being able to create, because all of a sudden I didn't have a studio,
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a kiln, didn't have access to any of that stuff. And so for a while I was still teaching art and doing stuff like that, but it wasn't fulfilling in the same way that ceramics is for me. And it was just some of the worst time, because I felt so
Mm-hmm.
disconnected from what it is to feel alive as a person and to have that creation going on.
Mm.
So I fully understand what you mean. I'm so sorry you also had to go through a lull, but I think it kind of helps you when you come back
Yeah,
to understand the importance of that
because we come
creation.
back stronger. We're
Oh,
like,
come back
whoa.
stronger, ready to create and ready to connect with other creators.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's the biggest thing too. Like the resources department, I found that's where everybody stumbles. It's either self-confidence, self-worth issues, or it's, well, I don't have resources. And that's what I'm like, well, how can we change that? It's like we build a network of creatives that are willing to work together no matter what it takes. And then when we all take off, then it gets, we can set more like established rules and whatnot. But it's like it has to start with a group of people who are willing to work together at low budget, low cost, and we can just all kind of go from there. And we can be like, well, we're banding together. We're going to give people resources that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. We're going to give them a platform that they can at least get their stuff out there. And that's what we're trying to build. So it's like,
I think
and
that's
Number Two
great.
Pencil Man's trying to tackle the other issue of self worth and self love. He's like, hey, love yourself and you can do it, because that's, I think, the catalyst to creation is believing and feeling like you're worth creating.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so hard as an artist, because you make something, and even if you love it while you're making it, when you look at it afterwards, you go, ugh. And then you go, maybe no one should ever see this or read this. Maybe I will hide it away. And you have to take that plunge sometimes. And it's really hard to get yourself to do it. But I think people need to realize that even if you don't love your art, someone's going to
Hmm.
fall in love with it.
Yes, that is so good. All right, I'm done with
So,
my tirade.
yes,
You want to
sorry,
go
Lamona. I
quickly?
didn't mean to keep
Oh
you
Lamona?
no, it's
going.
fine. It's fine. Yeah, well, I guess before I ask my question, I just it's really great to hear your perspective, Beth, on your lapse, but how it helped you realize that you just needed to figure out a way to get the ceramics creation part back into your life. Yeah, I feel that way with my writing, that I actually, with a bunch of creative things, but the writing has been the one I can do easiest right now in the season of life I'm in.
Hmm.
And even just bringing back that one creative ability that I have has made such a difference. It's helped me with like my depression and anxiety, to say just a few things that it's helped with. And yeah, also, yeah, the whole self-worth bit, absolutely. um yeah. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. That was really great. um uh I guess actually maybe I have 2 questions now.
Go for it.
Yay, more
Yes,
than
do
one
it.
is
Do it.
good.
Go for
I'm
it.
trying to do more than one question per episode. The first question, so feel free to have whatever order you want. But my first question that I had in my head was, I'd love to hear more about your. This is, I'm making a statement. Anyway, could you share more about your time at the, what did you say, Royal College of Art or something in London? Because I studied abroad in England in college, so
Really?
I'm like, oh, England. Like, I'd love to hear more about what your experience was like there, and because I also don't know a lot about how art colleges work because I didn't go to an art college, and then also my other question, maybe you talked about this with Tanner before I joined, but I don't know. But do you do your ceramics full time now, or is it still like on the side? I wasn't sure where you we're at with like 9 to 5 versus like full time artistic endeavors and all that.
Good
So
questions.
I will answer the second question first because it kind of leads into the first one. I had started doing ceramics full time a little while after COVID, and it was going really well. And then I decided to apply to art school, and I needed to have some other income because, as I'm sure you know, on visas, there are certain restrictions. So I couldn't work more than 20 hours while I was over there. And I knew this was coming up. I knew I was going to be applying. And I was hopeful I would get in. So I was working part-time, sometimes like more full-time hours. But yeah, as of right now, I am not full-time ceramic. I am still doing part-time. Since I just moved back, it's an adjustment period. So I do often have to have another job. So in an ideal world, it'll be full-time soon, but it's going to take a little while to get sorted. And it's kind of nice to have like a separate job where I get to interact with other people. Ceramics is highly communal in a lot of ways, but also highly individual when you're working in a home studio. So, and as for the RCA, it was one of the best experiences of my life. I loved it. I was looking into going to graduate school for a while. Like I said, after I graduated, I had that lapse in time and I knew I was depressed and I have major anxiety. And it was getting worse and worse. And I was like, I have to get back into art. And so I started looking into grad schools even back then in like 2020. But my big problem was a lot of art schools do require you to have like either a BFA or such an impressive CV that you make up for not having a BFA. And when I was in school, I made the decision to get a Bachelor of Science in the archaeology and do just a BA in art because I really thought I'd be going into archaeology. I had some stuff pop up and just decided I didn't really want that lifestyle. And I was going to go into art instead, but not having that BFA felt like an overwhelming obstacle for me for a long time. So I started researching other graduate schools after a little while, and the RCA popped up for me because it's the Royal College of Art, and it is a research institution. One of the big things that they really love is people with diverse academic backgrounds. So some people who got accepted, I believe one of my cohort mates had like a PhD in neuroscience or something crazy like that. Makes amazing, gorgeous art, but like didn't have any of that background. And I thought that was a really, really interesting way to approach an art school. And my art is so research heavy in a lot of ways. It felt like a very good fit. So I applied and I got in. And the thing I will say, if you are looking at applying to graduate school, especially one that has rolling admissions, apply early. If you apply in that first round, you automatically get put in for a lot of scholarships that are otherwise unavailable. And the Royal College of Art is very expensive if you have to pay the full tuition. If you apply early, you can get, there are even like some specifically for students coming from abroad that are only available if you apply early. Also, just go through and make sure before you apply that you have a list of all the scholarships you're going to go for and what you're going to do and how to do it. But yeah, I went over there. I had a year with a cohort of about 45, 50 people. Most amazing creators I've ever met. I am so grateful to have been able to create in that community with them. And to this day, I think about them all the time. I love all of their art. I just, the best experience. Through the RCA, I got to go and do a wood firing at the Oxford wood kilns. Another amazing experience. I think what I had been missing for a long time was getting to have that community again where you're building each other up, you're creating together. And I got so lucky with my cohort because there was none of that. And to be fair, I've never had issues with any other ceramic artists or artists in general, but our whole cohort was just like uplifting, spectacular. I felt so supported, not just by the faculty, but by the other students.
That's
So,
awesome. I
yeah.
love that.
If you have any questions about anything, like I said, there's visa restrictions when you're over there from abroad. So like you can only work up to 20 hours. So it's good to have some savings before you go. And of course, London is expensive. But so if it's something you're looking into, make sure you plan ahead.
It's good to know. Yeah, I haven't been abroad. I know Katie's been. Lemona's been. Sorry, I keep doing it. Lemona's been to a bunch of places.
What did you do while you were abroad? You said you went to school over?
Oh, it was just a study abroad. So it was just like for a semester. So it wasn't quite the same, Actually, it's quite different. I didn't have to spend nearly as much money. And it wasn't for like a full degree. I was just like a one semester. So
that's awesome.
Like spring semester, I studied abroad at the University of Gloucestershire in Cheltenham.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a really good experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I want to travel the world now. I feel so left out of this world traveling group. I mean, hopefully one day. That's a
you
dream.
will. Don't worry.
So did you always want to travel abroad, or was that just like something that happened because of the school?
Going abroad, I've always loved traveling, so it was something I was always interested in, and I'm not gonna lie and say that it being in London wasn't a huge draw as well. But it was ultimately because of the school. I loved the research focus. I loved that they thought my BS was a boon and not a hindrance. So.
I love that. That's great to hear, like, that you were able to find a school that you really enjoyed going to, because I don't know if that's the experience that everybody gets, but hopefully it is.
Yeah, I think art school is hard because for a lot of people it does not give you a lot ultimately. For me, the things I got from it were connections with other artists, which invaluable. Love them.
Yeah.
Loved all of my teachers. It gives you connections in the industry. So if you're looking to be more of an artist who does exhibitions, or like the distinction between fine art and craft, which I personally think is a silly distinction. Don't love it. But there is like exhibition prices versus what you would charge at a craft fair. And so if you're looking to get more into the exhibition field and that sort of thing, having a degree really is helpful. But for a lot of artists, it's simply unnecessary. Yeah. So I went into it, I already show a little bit in some exhibitions, but I kind of went into it wanting the connections and the community and the learning, because I had a lot to learn and I feel like I really improved. But again, for a lot of artists, I think it boils down to a waste of time and money for them. At least that's the impression that they have when they come out of it, because they go in expecting something that art school just isn't. So, I don't know. I know some people who it just isn't a good fit for.
Gotcha. No, that's good to know. Did you have another question before I...
No, not this time.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Oh, I do have another question. But do you have another question?
No, you go for it.
All right.
Take over, Lemona.
There's... my time's coming for takeover, but not tonight. We've had a fair number of people on the podcast, Beth, who are like kind of like multifaceted. Like they do have one area focus, but then sometimes they have some other areas on the side that they focus on too that might not even be super related to like the main focus. I just was wondering if you're one of those people, or no, if you're just like straight up ceramics and that's just all that you focus on.
So I love doing illustration. Um, I'm not very good at doing, like, you know how with comic artists and graphic novelists, they have to have it look the exact same every time they draw the character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so good at that repeatability, but I love doing just illustration. I have some wee little stickers, little owl bears, and I do little axolotls, silly, fun little illustrations. But I also am working on creating a bestiary, just a compendium of folkloric creatures that I've created for my own personal mythology. It was something I kind of started while I was at the RCA. It's what I did my final project on. And so I'm working on illustrating that, and maybe one day I'll publish it. But I love writing stories. I love doing illustration. I draw all the time. Um, yeah, I love sewing and costuming. I am not the best at costuming, and I don't do it a lot for cons, but I think looking forward, I would love to start vending at some larger cons. And there are a couple characters I've been kind of low-key working on some costumes for, so I think that would be fun.
Yeah, dressing up as a vendor, I can vouch for. Honestly, I think I wouldn't get as many sales if I wasn't a giant pencil superhero. So I
I
mean,
love your pencil costume. Did you guys make that one?
it's a combination of bought and altered.
Awesome.
But we are working on a brand new design, so we will have a new costume soon. That's the first anybody gets to hear that. I actually have a friend that's willing to help me, and I don't have a budget, so it's kind of hard because I have somebody in mind for when I want to do like a professional redesign in the future who does like professional mascots. But I have a friend who's a professional cosplayer and makes his own costumes, and he agreed to do it for the material cost. So
that's awesome.
that is it's
very
a huge blessing. So there will be a new pencil costume. I can't tell you when it will be done. I have no idea, and I didn't want to I don't when I work with other artists, I don't rush them unless there's like something that I need to have. I don't rush. I don't like to put deadlines on artists because I don't want to be like the mainstream, because mainstream does it all the time. They push their artists to the limits and don't even pay them what they're worth. And
Yeah, I have some friends who are in the video game industry and do art for that, and it is. A lot of them love it, but I know it's a little bit of a nightmare as a general job.
Yeah, that's why I love indie stuff, because we set our own deadlines. We don't have to like change things when people don't necessarily think it's what's best for our story. We don't have to like bow to that stuff, but that's just because indies rule. And yeah, that's pro indie here, all the way. But yeah, no, I'm super excited.
I have a favorite indie comic book store.
Ooh.
It's Neighborhood Comics down in Savannah, Georgia. Absolute favorite indie comic bookstore I've ever been to. They're amazing. Highly recommend them. I'm plugging them because I love them.
Ooh. We might have to get them on the show. Who knows? We've never had somebody who actually owned a full physical store yet.
We should reach out.
Yeah.
Oh, they're genuinely the coolest people. They support their local community. I met them because my friend is a graphic novelist. So my friend Brenna Thumler, she does graphic novels. She's amazing. She wrote Sheets and Delicates, and she has some new stuff coming out. Spectacular person. But we get to go on book tours together sometimes. And she actually has driven down for some cons with me as well. But on one of our book tours, we got to go to Savannah, Georgia, and Neighborhood Comics was just one of those places where you walk in and you can tell that they love their community, they love creators, and they are just spectacular, wonderful, warm, welcoming people. We had the best time, and they, even though I do not live anywhere near Savannah, Georgia, they remain my absolute favorite comic book store, and I fully intend to make my way back down there to see them again.
Very good. I'm going to have to reach out to them because I'm hoping at some point here I can tour across the nation. Hopefully. As my pencil superhero.
It would be spectacular.
Oh, no, it's good to know. And we'll have to reach out to them too, see if they'd want to come on the show. So we'd love to have
wonderful people.
Yeah, we haven't had a guest with an actual physical location store yet, so that would be
Hmm.
really cool to like, interview somebody who could become like a hub for indie creators, and people could just go to them and hang out and do all sorts of like cool indie things. Like that's a dream of ours to connect businesses that want to host indie things. So we're figuring that out. If you're a business out there and you want to do that, hit us up. Uh, to do the finger gun things. Pew, 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 pew. I I don't know. No, this is great. Like I'm super excited. So talking about that along the lines of like book tours and comic cons, how do you exhibit your artwork? Like, do you do mostly just like cons and art fests, or do you actually do exhibits as well?
So I do exhibitions. I have a history of them. I'm just now getting back into it because I had to ship everything from London.
Hmm.
So most exhibitions will not let you show something that is more than 2 years old in their juried exhibitions. Invitationals are a little bit different, and solo shows are a little different. But the juried exhibitions, it usually has to be within a time limit. So I had to wait to see what survived that trip from London. And so now I'm starting to apply. I do have a show coming up, but I am not going to mention what it's called out of my own fear because I just shipped the piece off and we'll see if it arrives safely first. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. But I should have an exhibition coming up in October. I have a tendency to be more in the creepy exhibitions. So, yeah, but yeah, I show in both. I have an Etsy store that I need to start back up now that I'm back as well, and now that I'm creating again. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, cons, art fairs, Etsy, exhibitions. Honestly, anywhere that I can go, I go. I'm looking at starting to go to some Renaissance festivals as well.
Ooh,
Ooh, good idea.
I'm
yeah.
a big fan of Scarborough down in Texas, and I hear that there are some really cool ones up here too. So,
Oh yeah. In this immediate area, I know Pennsylvania's got the Pennsylvania Ren Fair.
mm-hmm.
That's pretty popular. I'd say
Yeah.
a lot of people go to that one. I know New York's got one that's really popular, and I know New Jersey has one too, and I believe Baltimore has a pretty big one. So there's definitely like in the immediate area at least
I
four.
mean,
And
goodness, you could even do like fairy festivals
yeah,
and cryptid festivals because you have that folklore, like tendency with your art. You have lots of options.
yeah, fairy
Yeah.
festivals would eat your stuff up. Honestly, I think out of all the cons and festivals I've ever gone to, Fairy Fests have one of the best communities. Like the nerd culture is
Yeah, I would
great,
agree with
but I
that.
feel like there's something about the fairies and folklores that they are just like so chill, super friendly, and they are like willing to shop. Like they have some of the more expensive vendors, but they are people who go there and they are like supporting. It's like there's something in that culture that just it works and I love it, and I'm looking forward to when I write a story that can be more for those festivals which we're working on. That would be our joint story of Glee the Fairy of Fun at some point. But
Oh,
yeah, it's just like those festivals are popping, and then they do a lot at the fairy festivals, from balls to like workshops and crafts. They got a lot.
ooh. I'll have to look into it because I hadn't actually heard of fairy festivals. I think I've vaguely seen them, but I assumed they were like kind of subsections of Renaissance festivals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to look more into it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, New York has one that we haven't been to yet, but we've heard it's really good.
yeah.
And I just think it's like annual, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
There's a ton down our
There's
area.
there's plenty right in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, yeah, and there's West. Do they
Berkeley
do it every
Springs,
year?
yeah.
Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. It's small, but still a really good time.
And they got a castle
And they do have a castle
Oh,
house, yeah, on a hill.
right over the
Yeah,
hot springs. It's got a
yeah,
natural hot
oh,
springs.
that's a good reason to go.
Yeah. Shout out to Berkeley
yeah.
Springs.
Definitely would recommend it. 5 stars.
Yeah, we've been there twice and we
Yeah,
loved it. And
want to go back,
yeah.
but yeah, no, their fair festival there is good.
Yeah, so definitely lots of avenues that you can take your art. And that's the beauty of what you do is it kind of fits in with almost everything.
It's I enjoy how versatile it is and that I am not stuck just making one thing. For my mugs, I do a lot of like anime related references on some of them. And for the sculpture, yeah, like we said, folklore, mythology, that sort of stuff. So and then of course nature. It's very nice to be able to branch out into a whole bunch of little weird interests. So
Do you have I really enjoy anime. Do you happen to have an anime mug example nearby?
I don't think I brought it up. I have a couple FMA mugs, but they're downstairs. But I can
Full
send
Metal
you
Alchemist.
photos afterwards.
Oh yeah, please do. And actually, we could probably. This would be a good time because I was gonna pull this up anyway. You have an Instagram which has a lot of your art on it, so I figured now would be a good time. I'll move this screen out of the way to kind of showcase some of your works.
Been posting more casual videos lately. It's been fun.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know if the volume will be on, or if it will, I can probably mute some of the sounds. But I love the humor.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Very true. These are fun pieces.
Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, it's 6 legs?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to sculpt a weird creature, and that's how that one was born. I just needed something to get my creative juices flowing.
That is so fun.
That's one of the pieces I did at the RCA that did get smashed on its way back from London.
Oh no.
Oh, the bird one?
Yeah, the big pelican acting as a psycho pump.
Oh.
This one is just nerd stuff. Oh,
Nerd stuff.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah. Okay. This is the one that you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, I really love sculpting hands, and she gave me a good excuse to do that, so.
That's fun. Yeah, and then the teapot that you just showed off. This thing is so cool.
Oh, thank you.
I am like blown away at how many things you're able to put on a teapot first off, because there's not always a lot of room on teapots, and you don't always see like 3-dimensional art on teapots. So this is really cool to see just overall.
I have a lot of fun when I throw a little bit thicker so that I can do relief carving, and that way you're not doing too much additive work. Of course, the snake and the handle are additive, but like the leaves are just carved out of the pre-existing pot. So
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow, you just got a ton of stuff that you do, and all of it looks amazing.
Oh, thanks. I'm a big salamander fan, in case you can't tell. Love
salamanders
lizards.
are cool. Oh, go back to this thing. That is fun. Now, are these all your original creatures?
Yes. Yeah, so that one is a little dragon. I actually have him right here. He is a wee little dragon I made. I named him after my nickname from my little sister, which is Shoofaloofagus. So his name is Shoofy.
I love it.
That in no way resembles her real name, so... But, yeah, I made him about 3 years ago, and he was my very first time using an airbrush to get some underglaze color, and I fell in love with the way airbrushes do that soft glow on them.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of a go-to for me, and I've made a lot of other little critters recently.
The eyes, like, it almost looks alive.
Oh, thank you so much.
Really cool.
Oh, so you have a collection of tiny dragons.
Yeah, and they're all kind of they're dragons, but they have like certain animals influencing them. So Shoofy's kind of a rat, and then that one was a chameleon. This one's a sea otter.
Okay. I like that.
Huh? Oh, and that one's just showing the spray brush. That one is based on some like just a little forest spirit folklore type of deal. Mostly like Nordic tradition for it, but...
That is so cool. I
Thank you.
I love your little creatures. I have always loved folklore and cryptid, so these things they fit in so well to that. You did a lot. Oh, those are like a sketch. That's
Yeah,
so
that was
fun.
that was the sketch that formed the idea that became him. So I
How big?
sculpted him primarily on live on TikTok because
Okay.
sometimes I get a little distracted in my studio, and it helps to have people to chat with. So that's what that was. Oh, that's Scarborough.
Uh-huh. You have cats.
Oh yes, my cat is named Pocket. She is my tiny soulmate, my extension of my inner self.
Oh.
Possibly also a demon. Unsure. We love her. Oh,
Oh
and
man.
that's the process called sgraffito. So with sgraffito, you do a layer of color, whether you're using an engobe or in that case, it is a Mako's velvet underglazes. And then
Okay.
you scrape it away using tools, and you can see I had to touch it up a little bit because I got a little
Yeah.
too scrape happy. But yeah, it's a really easy process. If you like two-dimensional art, it's some way that you can incorporate that. If you wanted to try out ceramics, all you do is you make a little flat piece of clay, you cut out a little coaster, you put some layers of it on, and then you scrape it away, and you can kind of do. It's very similar to printmaking in a lot of ways, or to
Okay.
just illustration.
Yeah. That's really cool to see the different techniques that you use.
Ah, I do a lot
Oh,
of silly little videos.
hey, we love it. We love seeing the personality of the artists come through what they do and just, because there's got to be a balance. You got to post stuff about life and you got to post your art. I mean, everybody wants to see that an artist still has a life, I think.
Yeah, I get a little I'm not so good with the social media stuff. Maybe I'm a little bit too old for it or something, but I've just never been good at. I get so self conscious. Part of the reason I
Mm,
started a TikTok in the first place was I knew I wanted to apply to the RCA, and they require a video entry. And so I was too nervous in front of the camera to record it. And so I was like, all right, I guess I'll start a TikTok. I'll get used to being in front of the camera and talking to people, and maybe it'll help. And it really did, but I still, every time I go to post something, I get so anxious about it. So for me, I post silly stuff on TikTok, and I tend to do more photos on Instagram, but I'm starting to try to loosen up a little on Instagram and get out of my head in that regard.
man, speaking to you, you wouldn't even know that you're shy on camera at all.
Oh,
You are
thank
very
you.
well spoken and
Yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree there.
you're
Yeah.
professional. It sounds professional,
Oh,
honestly.
thanks. It's exposure therapy. Highly recommend it.
I do too. I mean, honestly, like when I first started content creating, I stood in front of a camera and I can't tell you how many takes it would take for me to say what I wanted to say in one good go. And then finally, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna just do it. I'm gonna put out my flaws. I'm just gonna like not even care because I want to be relatable and I want people to be like, oh, you know what? This guy's being real. And then I started getting more confident, and then it's like, oh, I can do it a lot easier now.
Yeah, I think you just have to break through that initial barrier of feeling, like you said, stuck, having to do take after take to get it
Hmm.
right. And at some point, as long as you're not doing something too crazy, you have to realize people aren't going to be judging you as harshly as you judge yourself.
It's very true.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of your pieces here, and I'll do like a scroll here on the main page. But like, there is so much that you've done. I don't know if you keep record or not, but how many pieces would you say that you've created in
Oh,
your career?
I
Career.
have
I don't know
no
why I said
idea. I'm
career.
so sorry. I do lots of like little guys that sell. So, like, if we're counting those, thousands maybe? I don't know. But I do a lot of like larger sculptural work too. But I have no idea how many I've created.
No, that's amazing to see how many pieces that you've been able to create is really inspiring because there's some artists that only do it like here and there and they might put out like one piece here and there, but it looks like you have such a flow with your work that you're able to just kind of keep it going and
Oh,
not
thank you.
stop. And
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
find that I
amazing.
go a little crazy if I'm not making. It is what keeps me sane. It helps all of my anxiety, everything. Life is just better when I get to create, so I do it at every opportunity that I can.
That's good words of wisdom and advice for anybody out
Mm.
there. I love it. Yeah, wow. And it just keeps going and
Yeah,
going.
sorry.
You
It's
know,
No, it's
I
fun.
I don't know if no pressure if you haven't seen it. I promise there's a reason why gonna say this. But one of our past episodes we had a jeweler on,
Hmm.
and
ooh.
her jewelry is like almost alive. It's weird, the way that she works a lot with like precious stones, and like the
Hmm.
setting of the stone and the specific cuts of the stone that she's able to do is just, I've never seen anything like it. I just really haven't. It's just so unique. The reason I'm saying that, Beth, is because your ceramics, it feels like that same, like they're like alive with the passion you put into them, and they're so unique. Like I've never seen anything like them before, and it's just, it's really cool to see.
That is the
Yeah.
sweetest compliment. Thank you so, so much. And I have not seen that episode, but I need to go through and look. I love jewelers. I love anything that's like material arts, where, especially if it's rooted in something that's considered craft and looked down on in the art world, which
Mm.
are traditionally things that women did. So if you look at like ceramics and jewelry and anything using like fiber arts, those are my favorite fields. I love them. I think they are just spectacular. And I would love to see her work or their work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she her. Mm-hmm.
She's very cool. I think
Ah,
you guys could like really vibe with your guys' art style a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, we've gotten down like this is probably like years ago at this point.
that was, I believe, 2019 when I first started getting back into ceramics after my lull. And so I didn't have a studio at the time. I was in Dallas in an apartment. And so I was just kind of hand building on my porch at the time. And so a lot of those things, they look a little wonky. They're all either coil built or slab built. I didn't have any tools except my like banding wheel and some loops and that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
um,
wow.
I have a wheel now and a kiln, and life is great, but it was also really fun. That's kind of why I know about the kiln share programs. There's a really great store in Dallas called Trinity Ceramic Supply, I believe. And they actually let me rent out spaces in their kiln, and it's the only reason why I got to get myself back into ceramics, along with the support of my professor who introduced me to them and also let me fire some things in the kiln with him a few
Yeah,
times. So,
that is really amazing. That is quite the resume of ceramics, I have to say. And I love it because when we were scrolling past the mugs there, I wanted to say this too. Like, those mugs aren't just like the typical mugs that you see a lot of potters and ceramic artists make. Like, they are their own statement. I haven't seen mugs quite like yours. So I wanted to say that even in the stuff that you make that maybe others do make, yours is still very stand out.
thank you.
Commissioning is when you ask someone to make a specific something,
Yeah,
right? Do you do commissions, Beth?
I do.
I was gonna say most artists do, but
Someday, I want a teacup commission
yeah,
from
Oh,
no.
you.
I would
One of the
love
things
that.
when we all make it big, we're gonna be supporting each other in bigger ways. Right now, it's just we're gonna get you on the podcast, give you a platform. But when we make the real money, we're gonna be like, "Hey, Beth, you want to make a couple of things?"
I
Because
have
yeah,
a list of artists, and anytime I get enough money that I can justify a fun purchase, I start checking off that list. It's,
Mm.
oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I,
I feel you.
I'm
Mm.
starting to try to put together artists that I want to work with for like merch commissions, like come up with a design, and I'm gonna start
Hmm.
having new merch soon. So it's gonna be something that I can
Oh,
do,
that's
like you said.
awesome.
But
Oh, yeah,
yeah, no,
speaking of, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no, go for
Um,
it.
I wanted to say my little icon on Instagram, and I believe I use on TikTok as well, was drawn by an artist called Alex Reader Art. I believe that's what their name on Instagram is. But fantastic artist. Highly recommend. I did not draw my little icon, so I wanted to mention them since we were scrolling through the Instagram.
No, it's a really cool profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love
Man.
it. He did just the best job, so.
It's good. We'll have to see if we can link him in the description below. So that way, I'm going to get a list of all the stuff that you said. So that way we can put the links in the description, because you gave us so much information. You shared your passion with us in such a way that only the creator that has the passion can. And I love it, because it's really been inspiring and encouraging. And yeah, I'm blown away. I'm always blown away when a guest comes on here and we get to talk more about how they do it, what they create, the passion behind it. It's my favorite thing in the whole world, because
you were so worth staying up for, Beth.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been so nice to get to chat with both of you. I've been so looking forward to this. So
yeah, us too. You are the first ceramics artist on the show, I have to say.
I hope you get many, many more, because
Us too.
There are so many great ceramic artists out there. I'll send you a list.
Oh, please do. And like I said, you can always recommend people to us. We love when people, I'll tell you, because this is how it happens a lot. We get a lot of word of mouth. So like one creator comes on the show and like, oh, I'll tell my friends about it. And then I get a message from like their friends, like not even a week later, being like, oh, hey, my friend was on the podcast. Can I come on? And I'm like, yeah. And then it just kind of went from there. Like when we had Wham Stand on the show, after that, we got Adam Matthew Smith, and he was one of our guests. He had a comic book series that he came on to promote for his Kickstarter. And like from there, like people just started to know each other and like reach out to us. And it's just like, this is cool. And then I do a fair amount of outreach as well. So, I mean, that's how I met you. I found you on TikTok because I use TikTok to scout. Like that's kind of like, I'll be like, okay, all these indie artists. I'm like, this is cool. And when I saw your stuff, I'm like, I got to connect with them. I got to like shoot them a message. And I do that. That's how I find like a lot of my people. But then I started getting word of mouth, and then people start reaching out to us. And that is amazing in itself when they do that. Because I never, I guess younger me never thought that I could actually build something like this where people wanted to like come on and be a part of it. I always thought that I was going to be the one that was like out there seeking it. And it's amazing to see like what it's grown into and how we've kind of been able to handle this. And yeah, like I really do hope that we get to meet many more amazing creators. And of course, we do want to have you back on the show in the future. And hopefully Frey and Rachel will be with us there as well.
Yeah, I would love to meet them. I saw a couple other episodes and they seem like really engaging, wonderful people. So.
Oh, yeah. It's the team. You know, I feel like we're operating at half strength when they're not around. And I know it's just temporary. I know everybody, you know, we go through things, and I said this before, but we all agreed that we felt the calling was so strong that we wanted the show to go on no matter how many of us could make it. As long as one of us was there, we've all agreed that we're going to go on with it.
Perfect.
Which mostly is me at the moment. At the moment.
Well, you're the extrovert of the group. You've got to lead the charge.
Like I said, I never wanted to be the leader. Everybody was just like, that guy. And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm doing this now again. I don't mind. I love my friends. Like I said, I miss when Frey and Rachel aren't here. In fact, it's been a little bit since we've brought this up on the screen. But you know I got to. Frey is my best friend.
What about Rachel?
I do got to put something on there for
Yeah,
Rachel.
you do.
Hold on. I can do that.
I was going to say, I can say it for you. Rachel is also his best friend.
Yes. There we go.
There we go.
Save and show.
We miss Rachel to like.
There
We
we
miss Rachel. We do, honestly, though, because she's our reporter of the group. You've seen enough episodes to know how she just fires off questions, but that is how she works. And that's the best thing about this team, is that we all complement each other in different ways. I'm the bubbly one. Frey and Lemona.
I'd be more bubbly if I weren't so dang tired all the time, but that's another story for another time.
But they're like the balances, you know? Like Frey and Lemona, Frey is more blunt than Lemona is.
Which is pretty blunt, because you can all be very blunt. Usually mostly with him. He gets the brunt of my bluntness. See, there's my wordsmithing coming out. I wasn't even trying. Okay.
That's true.
But yeah, poor guy. Yeah, I'm usually super nice to everyone else. I mean, I'm nice to him too, but
Sometimes. So.
It was-
I'm kidding. No, but we all work together so well. And when we get to meet other indie creators, it just seems like this community that we're building, like you're a part of it now. It's like we connect so well. And that's part of the reason why the show is called Indie Synergy Exchange, because it's just, it's there. And we haven't had a guest that we haven't really clicked with. And
yeah, that's true.
It's
That's awesome.
amazing. Even the ones that talk all the time, it's fantastic. Like we still get that synergetic connection with them, and what we're building is important, and what we're building as individual creative artists, that's what changes the world. And no, I'm super excited. That was a long tangent, but
we should wrap it up.
yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. So final questions. Did you have any other
No,
questions?
no questions.
Okay, cool.
We need to wrap it up.
Sweet. Yeah, I guess the last thing that I normally ask is, where can our audience find you? Like, where can they find your works? Can they buy it from somewhere? How does that work?
So right now, my store is not up, but you can find me on Instagram at mythsandclay with underscores in between all the words, or TikTok at mythsandclay with no underscores, or YouTube, also mythsandclay. My website is mythsandclay.com. It's not currently updated. I need to work on that. But I'll be posting on my socials when the store goes back online and once I'm kind of resettled and getting things up and running. So
yeah, we're super excited. And as always, we'll link all that below. So I tend to try to link all your socials and everything. So all that, in case you missed it, down below. So go check out.
I'll send you some of those links as well for some of the people I mentioned.
Yeah, that would definitely help, so that way we can provide all of our amazing listeners with all that information, because you gave us quite a bit. So I am super excited to be able to share that with everybody. And yeah, I'm just so thankful that you came on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I really had the best time, and it's wonderful to get to meet other creatives. So I was so excited when you reached out.
Oh yeah. No, we'll definitely have you back on the show again.
I would love that.
Now, before we end, I'm going to do the promotional stuff again because, got to do it at least twice. I don't know. For those who stuck it out, our true fans out there, and all the new people that are joining us, thank you guys again for tuning in to this episode of Indie Synergy Exchange. If you like the episode, please consider interacting with us and subscribing to the channel. Helps us grow, helps us, like I said earlier, build this platform for all the other amazing indie creators out there that we're going to bring onto the show in the future, and also the ones that will be making a reappearance at some point. We love building this community. We love sharing what they do with you, and we just love showing showing the world what indie has to offer. So if you're about the indie scene, consider supporting us and following us on our social medias. All that will be linked below, but we're the Dreamscape Empyrean on all of our socials. You can find us directly at our own. I'm number 2 Pencil Man and Tanner's Tales Entertainment. Lemon with Wings, I believe.
Lemon with Wings or Lemona Bonneray, depending on which platform you're on.
Yes. And of course, Frey has his own, and that's all linked below. And so does Rachel, always linked below. So definitely, check us out. Follow us. If you want to be on the show, you're an indie creator, you can just reach out to us. DM me, DM the Dreamscape. Either way, you're probably still dealing with me, but we can get you scheduled. I do it all. I wear many hats in my own business and here. So definitely reach out to us. We'd love to get you scheduled, and we can always try to figure out a schedule that works for pretty much anybody. So yeah, you name it, we're accommodating as best as possible. But with that all being said, thank you guys for watching Indie Synergy Exchange. I'm going to actually give it to Beth one more time. Beth, what would you say to the audience out there as a last encouraging word for everybody?
Create as much as you can and just go for it. Just take that leap and put your art out there, and you'll make the world better, and you'll feel better.
Right. That's Beth, everybody, and until next time, we'll see you on the next episode, dreamers. Keep dreaming. Bye-bye.
Bye.